Hey all, welcome to Parker's Reefs. On today's episode, we're going to go visit Jono and see what he has at Aquamarine Aquaristic. Alright, thank you for joining me on yet another episode of Parker's Reefs, and as touched on in the intro, today we are visiting one of my favourite local fish shops, Aquamarine Aquaristic, and Jono there has promised me that he has heaps of incredible stuff to show us and that he will personally be there to take us on a guided tour, which I always really appreciate when I visit these local fish shops because there is so much happening in these stores that without someone that's been there all day, every day, it's really easy to miss half of the exciting things that are happening. So getting the opportunity to have the manager there, Jono, mic'd up and take us through all of his favorite things in store is always a pleasure, and especially fitting when we are at Aquamarine Aquaristic. So without any further ado, let's roll the footage and check out all of the beautiful Easter goodies at Aquamarine Aquaristic. Jono, good to see you, mate.
How you going, Sam?
I'm well, thank you. I thought I'd drop on by, see what's new at Aquamarine Aquaristic. Any chance you can take us through what's new in store?
Yeah, sure. Let's have a look what's going on at this Easter.
Let's do it, man. Yeah, well, firstly, you guys are always changing things up at this shop. As soon as I walk in, this display you guys have had through various iterations for a long time. The display over your shoulder back there is just growing and growing, despite the fact that there's little cuts off every one of those mother colonies in there that get fragged out. It's a working display.
Yeah, definitely working.
Now you've got this system here as well with some big Goni mother colonies in there. Always things happening here.
Yeah, so we had this cade for sale, but I couldn't help myself. So we had another tank along there. It was a bit of an old one. While I was sitting there on my little office, I started to see the seam split. So
wow, okay, we can't have that.
Yeah, I couldn't be sitting there and watching every day the silicon go a little more. So
yes,
we ended up setting it up. There is a bit of a plan for this tank.
Okay.
Not sure if anyone's actually seen Worldwide Reefs or Top Shelf Aquatics. I'm guessing
I'm sure
most people have. They use this PVC idea, and pretty much we're imitating like a cut to order, like American style.
Yep.
So the idea will be when I have enough colonies, which seems like the displays suck up all the colonies all the time, is they will go on these little poles here. And then they go into the rack, and then I can go different angles and things like that.
Nice,
and
nice.
SPS actually grows on there. I could pull that out, clean them, frag them.
Makes life easy,
and then put them back. That's what they do, and thought I'd give it a go. And the Gonis grow in between. I moved them here from there because I wanted to get more flow in that system because a lot of detritus grows around the Gonis, which was causing me a bit of issues.
Yeah, right.
We have had lots of issues with these. With the store actually, with these two displays and Salinity.
Tell us about the displays. So Salinity's caused you some grief.
Yeah, so we're using the electronic refractometer.
Yes.
So the Milwaukee.
Yes.
It was Bible for me. It's always worked for me, and I never I never cross-referenced it. I probably got a bit slack with it.
Sure. Happens to all of us.
And the Salinity creeped on me, and this tank actually got to 40 ppt, and
damn.
I lost about half of it. So.
40 PPT, that's...
I got to own up to that. And the rest of the other displays, like 38, 39, I think they got so high because we don't bag from them.
Yeah, okay.
And the other tanks were 36, something like that, so we kept bagging them from, kept it good. But, whoops.
What sort of time frame, how long ago are we talking that this saw 40 PPT?
Only 3 weeks ago.
Oh man, well, it's not looking that bad.
The colours come back, I noticed it pretty quick. And I sent away an ICP, which thank God that came back within a week.
Nice.
And that actually said that the salinity was fine. But I sent it off to the boys at Sustainable Reefs, which I talked to them quite a bit, and they're always happy to help.
Yep.
And he said, going off my sodium and chloride levels, did a bit of maths and said that it can't be 36 PPT, that it's a lot more likely to be 40. So I got the old
old school on it.
Yeah, he told me to go back to that, and it confirmed that. Yeah, it was 39.40. So
that's good to show. Sometimes reef gadgets can cost us more trouble than they're worth. But I got to say, this tank, it doesn't look bad.
It's looking fantastic now. There's a few that have, if you do a top down, you'll see some that had maybe a bit of stripping or stuff, but the stripping has stopped.
Yep.
The browning, the colours coming back, and that's the good thing about SPS is they'll tell you quickly that something's wrong when they hit a teetering point.
Yep.
But they will also forgive you quite quickly if they don't die, obviously. But if they brown out, they can be quite forgiving to bring their colour back.
Issue. When they go white and start growing algae, it's a separate issue.
Yeah.
But brownouts, SPS, when you've got this much light, this much flow, and once you recovered it back to good water again, they come back pretty quick, particularly when they're well-matured mother colonies. They're going to go back to their former glory pretty quickly, and I got to say, they're pretty well there. Yeah, you had a little bit of colour loss and a couple of bits that are stripped out, but considering it's you got off fairly lightly, I'd say.
I would have thought that I lost most of my microfauna, so I did all pods and all that again.
Yep,
and I've been giving it the Fido an extra love.
Yes.
And it's coming good.
Coming good. Well, I think the display's still looking good, and I actually got to say, I love the clams sitting up in the rockwork amongst the acras. It gives a nice little point of difference, particularly when you have that top down and you're looking at all these furry sticks. Then all of a sudden, there's a bit of a clam mantle there.
I love clams. Clams were in there originally.
Yes.
But the powder blues started picking at them, and then the blue tang started, which absolutely threw me off.
Yeah, monkey see, monkey do. Now, you say this tank still had a bit of a salinity spike as
yeah,
well, but
that was 39 as well. So
yeah, right.
It's coming pretty good, this one as well.
No massive issues with colour or growth in here, and like I touched on in the intro, you can see these pieces have all got all these little bare skeleton branches where they've been cut back and obviously made available for your customers, which is what I do love here. You have these incredible display tanks, but they're not just here to inspire. Someone come in and say, oh, that coral is incredible. You go, no worries, let me cut a bit off. And you can either take it as a fresh cut or you can leave it here to heal up, and if you don't already have some ready to go, which
it's good for customers. It's a little bit bad for me because then everything always looks chopped and stunted and maybe doesn't display the growth of some other people's displays. But yeah, like I said, Sam, it's a working display, and it has to earn its keep. It has to be positive and make money and not lose us money, because we are a business. So
well, we all know how much reef tanks cost, and even when you're in the industry and you can get corals and fish and even equipment at wholesale prices, you don't really get any discount on electricity, and even wholesale prices on a tank this big definitely adds up. Which remind me, what sort of size is this tank again? It's a monster.
It's 10 foot 3 meters by 1, and then a little bit less.
Yeah, right.
1,000 litre water changes aren't cheap either, salt water.
This is true.
Time and effort, and especially when you put too much salt.
Yeah, if you use a little less salt, it's a bit cheaper.
We might save a little more money now, but a little bit less.
It's cheaper. That is a good point.
Yeah.
Now, I did notice one other display tank over here. This is a beautiful little soft coral system you got going on over here.
Yeah, so these are my loves. These tanks are definitely my love. Soft coral, I've got a soft spot for them.
Absolutely.
They just grow, they don't fight, they're not phased by anything.
It's just low stress, easy to care for. You just go in there with a scalpel every now and then, slice a bit of those soft corals back. And
yeah, I'm not even that nice. I just get the rusty scissors out and chop them back. We do have lots of frags from this display.
Yeah.
A lot of toadstool, not so much singularia.
Yes.
And every time I cut the photosynthetic gorgonian, that's gone within the day.
I can imagine, and it's nice to see a gorgonian actually looking great, and even the spider sponge behind there, all the soft corals in there looking a treat, which is good to see, and a huge point of difference. I mean, you guys, the history of this store, I mean, when it initially kicked off, you were known as like the SBS people of Australia. Still absolutely have a huge range of SBS, but you probably then branched out into gonies to become quite well known for some of your goni strains. And now I noticed, when I did a little quick walk through the shop before, and we'll get to them soon, you've got quite a good range of soft coral frags as well.
Yeah,
so
soft coral frags, galaxia frags, lots of different other frags that I'm doing.
Continually adding new bows to your string, which is super, super cool. And yeah, I love to see a working display there that shows what's sort of possible, which is
low maintenance.
Low maintenance.
Yeah,
and
just water change, clean the glass, that's it.
Can't ask much more than that.
Yeah, very
Now,
easy.
speaking of tanks, that we've talked about all these corals that you frag up for sale. You've got quite a few corals here for sale at the moment. I mean, I interrupted you guys doing a fish and invert unboxing, but it's not like you're short of coral. You got quite a bit to show us here.
No, we didn't get any coral in, Sam, because we're probably 80% full at the moment.
Plenty going on.
Yeah, so we got a lot online, I'd say, as well as aquaculture now being, you know, quite a bit of the store.
Yes.
Most of the store now is online. We've expanded that from just the one bay that we had in the middle of the shop down there, which we'll get to now having this is all online.
Yep.
And then a little bits and pieces here. I'm working out how I can actually turn that wall into online as well.
Okay, nice.
My idea is to have the biggest range of WYSIWYG corals and signature corals and frag corals that I think Australia is lacking a little bit. I know there's some guys that do some really good stuff. But,
absolutely.
I just want to go bigger and better and keep progressing.
And you say WYSIWYG because you guys are legitimate WYSIWYG.
Yeah.
You photograph and identify every single coral, so someone can look up on your website, which, remind me again, is aquamarineaquaristic.com.au.
Correct, yep.
Excellent.
Yep.
Jump on that website, go to the WYSIWYG section, you can have a look at the corals there. There is an identification number next to them. You can, if you want, if you're intrigued by that coral, head on in store and have a look. You'll find that actual number and have a look at that coral. Or once you've got the faith in the system, you can purchase away knowing the style of your photographs and how the corals look, sizing, colors, things like that. Arrives at your door the next day. Happy days.
Yeah, we do have put in quite an investment in our camera setup. So it's a decent setup, and it produces good quality like photos. Yeah.
What you need when you're trying to sell corals online. I mean, no use having blue disco photos. We've got to see what they actually look like. But this tank here has got a fairly eclectic range of pieces in it, from some scollies over here that you've got some pretty nice high-end scollies in there, I've got to say, and a nice range of some probably cheaper or more affordable is maybe a better way of saying it. Through to some trackies, you've got this little, is this a little baby desh here?
Yeah, it is they call it a speckled desh, but it's more like a nice pattern green toxic desh. It's quite nice. It's small, good for a nano.
Exactly, yeah. The size is what really draws me to it. You've got some Adonis zoas back there, and I believe you've got a heap more of them to come in another tank.
Yeah, we just produced a whole heap of frags, so
nice.
They'll start to be popping up on the website.
Excellent.
In every upload, I'd say, until.
Love to hear it. And then you roll on to a huge variety of different Aussie elegance corals there with some really nice variations in there. I like the ones first and second here with this sort of toxic sort of coloured frill with a different centre and blue tips on them, looking a treat.
Gold stem.
Gold stem.
Not quite gold stem, but they call them gold stem.
Oh, they're a goldish stem.
They're unique. One thing about elegance is they're very easy to look after.
Yes.
And they're very we're starting to get a better range of them.
Yep.
You used to just get big old green ones.
Yes, exactly.
But now you're getting the blue tips and pink tips and like the gold stems and the yellows. They're really, really, really nice coral to add to your collection.
Absolutely, and then you've got a nice little assortment of fungias here, quite like you've got the solid oranges, you've got the green frills, you've got the green rings, and then some really nice cynarias here, including this little special one in the back corner there, and a nice little variation of colour on him, a little bit of rainbow, dare I say, with the green centre. You've got sort of the yellow underneath the ring there, and then the sort of peach over the top.
Yep, they're our online ones. We do have a lot more in store.
Yeah,
down the back.
Right, we'll get to those. Let's keep rolling through these corals. Speaking of Adonis, we've got Adonizoas here, 50 per polyp, and you got a few polyps there. You got quite a few frags of different numbers of polyps there. So anyone looking to get their high-end Zoa on, you got them covered. You got big wild green gonies here. I'm going to assume they're wild based on the size of them.
Yeah.
45 a piece.
$45 on special at the moment.
Super cheap. You got some crazy nice big chalice in here as well. Good assortment of colours, styles. And then come down to a little bit of a Hulk green overload down here, man. Look at all this.
Yeah, we got a shipment of Hulk green torching, hundreds of heads. It's a little bit less now, and I thought I'll keep them moving by bringing down the price to a very nice $120 a head. And they're not
very
small.
Nice. No.
They're quite decent sized heads.
Yeah, that's
$120.
That's a very nice price.
Some people might call them two, but
absolutely.
I didn't get charged two, so I'll be nice and kind.
Pass it on, definitely. Love it. And then I'm intrigued by these Duncan frags you got back there, super long extensions on them. They are obviously going to branch out really, really nicely. And man, then you just come into some zoas in here, some of the non-Adonis spec zoas, but if you look through here, there's still some absolute treasures in there, and
They're
these
all
are
WA.
bargain basement pricing, 40 a tile, buy 3 get 1 free. Absolutely love it. And then coming across here, in case you didn't think they were cheap enough, this tank's the bargain coral. Plenty of bargains in there, lots to look at, and a huge variety of stuff in here. This is sort of a bit of a assortment from candy canes. You've got zoas, you've got fungias, you've got parietes, you've got chalice, some trackies, some froggies, all sorts going on in there. Plenty to see.
It's a beautiful green frog spawn, which are one of my favourite actually. Really
Great
digging.
froggies.
Yeah, I'm really digging frog spawn at the moment, especially this one here. See, it's got the gold.
Yeah.
Goldy base.
You've got the flow off to help us with the video, but I imagine when the flow's on, you just be able to see those little gold stringy bits in the base there looking a treat. And then these toxic greens back here, super bright. You guys have also got a heap of fungias in store as well, and I mean like helio fungias here.
Yeah.
We've got some monsters as well. These ones is what I would traditionally call a monster, but they don't hold a candle to some of the ones we're going to see in a minute. They get massive. And then you got this awesome assortment here of these marbled gold hammers in here.
Yep, so our little fragged or chopped up goldy hammers. So there's portioned out at $40 each.
Beautiful. Very nicely priced.
No one's complaining about that.
I imagine they're not. Very nice pricing.
Yeah.
This tank behind us here is where we've got that expansion out to a heap of the new soft corals in here. I mean, you've got some Monties and some things in here as well. But I noticed immediately when I came in store, this huge assortment of soft corals in there, which is super cool to see. And are you finding that soft corals becoming a little bit more popular of late?
Yeah, especially when I've got the display now and I can show, and someone's like,
Inspires
oh,
people.
that bit I like how you have that, and then I can take them over here and I can mimic the best as possible. But they're a great way to get a bit of flow and movement, especially the top of your tank.
Definitely.
Like these Singularias here for $30.
Yeah, cheap.
You put that at the top, it's going to give you a bit of flow, it's easy
Absolutely.
to look after, and it has some nice colour. But yeah, soft corals of late have been very popular for us. Yeah. It's been good.
And I can see why I just say you've got a display, but you've also got in your for sale tanks a huge range there. I mean, there's probably, to be fair, there's probably 20 to 30 different types of soft corals, if not more in there. And then you've got almost probably a dozen or two of each one of those types. So literally hundreds of different pieces here for people to pick through and find the exact sort of colour, shape, style and species they want, which is...
There's definitely some unique.
I was admiring
pieces.
some pieces in there before, yeah, like look
Like
at that.
the old cookies and cream.
Yeah.
They actually disappeared and, not disappeared, but people, this fish bites.
An angry clown tank? Surely not.
Yeah,
that's cool.
these sort of things, collectors weren't really getting them much anymore.
No,
I just
it's
get
one of those
Singularas and toadstools, so I've been asking to get some more unique bits that I remember from maybe
Back in the day, mate, showing
9
your
or
age.
10 years ago, like cookies and cream and things like that.
No, they look great. And I
Yeah.
do love the expansion out into the soft corals. Of course, you've got plenty of still wild SPS here
Yep.
as well. It's not just all about aquaculture here. You guys obviously get in wild pieces and you got some nice big colonies in there and always a huge assortment of different species, colours, varieties in there.
If wild is your cup of tea, you've got some nice tenuous and some tabling. These are all outer reef.
Yep, beautiful, yep.
Deeper water species.
And then back over into the aquaculture side of things, we've got some pretty cool pieces down here. Coming from your Galaxias, which you touched on before.
Yep.
You guys have got no shortage of Galaxia in there. Heaps and heaps of Galaxia, and these are super toxic. You've got these bright blue tips on them. Really nice, super easy to care for coral. Obviously be a little bit stingy, but give it a bit of space and everyone's a winner.
Yeah, that's why I got them near the soft coral, because they're a little more forgiving.
Definitely.
They're the toadstools. Actually, we got the toadstool in the display that I cut them from.
And they are a nice long polyp toadstool too. I know potentially our friends over in America or other parts of the world that can access some toadstools from outside of Australian waters might say that's not a long toadstool, but for us here in Australia where we can only access Aussie corals, that is a long polyp toadstool, and Look at the extension on this guy back here for the size of the toadstool. Crazy, crazy nice.
And the bubble corals are a small micro bubble, but they are healing up. So they can see they're a bit closed and upset.
Yep, yep.
They only cut maybe a week ago. So
wow, healing up quickly.
As it says, not for sale yet.
Yeah, not for sale yet, but they are not far off looking at them because, yeah, they're healing up very quickly and great. I love the the grape-sized bubble coral where they got that little small section. Just sort of gives it a little bit more contrast, particularly if you put it near one of the standard bubble corals with those big heads on it. Then you've got a few chalice frags near, Raja Rampage for day. Yeah,
Raja Rampage has been a new one we've added into our signature. I know it's been around a while, but it is a new one for us.
It's beautiful.
That was very fast growing.
Yes.
I cut that back and it's already, not even within a week, and the mother's already grown a little lip.
Healing up very nicely. And then you've got jelly beans and jokers as well. I must admit, I'm not right up there with the names, but this red and orange row behind the Raja, or in front of the Raja, look very, very nice. And then tell me about this huge assortment of Blastos you got.
Yeah, so Blastomussa, our diver, Dean at Ozfish, found a whole heap of Blastos, and I was lucky enough to get our hand on it, and this tank was actually full of Blastos.
Yeah, nice.
We've sold them back obviously now, and we cut them up and made frags.
It's always nice to see Blastos when you've got such variety of Blastos. When you see the same Blasto over and over again, it kind of, you lose a little bit of joy for it. But when you see, like, you go from these red and purple guys, you got green, so teal and gold, you got solid reds, you got purples, you got pinks.
These ones are quite popular.
Yeah, understandably. Look at the contrasty colours on them, beautiful. Very, very nice. And I love this guy over here, this green, yellow and red piece there, just looks like a little diamond in the rough to me there. Beautiful Blasto. Not that would suit my tank, my angel would eat it, but always nice to see these pieces nonetheless. And then we come over to, well, actually I was going to almost skip the tank here. You've got a nice little mushroom tank in here with a huge colony of ricks back there, some nice red soft corals, some fluffy morphs, just a nice little assortment of different soft corals in there.
Yeah, nothing too flashy in there at the moment, Sam. No bounces or anything, but just some greens and reds and fluffies, and that's just another extension off to the soft corals.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can get some of these, and you can get some soft corals. You build a very nice tank.
Definitely, definitely.
Those Redactus are quite interesting, though.
Yeah, I do love some of the Redactus that are out at the moment, and yeah, it's got a real nice, fluffy, as you say, Persian rug finish to it, which is very, very nice. Then we come across to a tank which is written up here, strictly not for sale, but that's because it is headed for Fragarama in Brisbane. You guys are making the trip up again. You're going to the second edition of Fragarama.
That's our second time in, yeah. Yeah, it's going to be great, hopefully. All goes to plan, you know, but especially with animals, bagging them up, put them in a box, and travelling, especially as far from Melbourne to Brisbane, is always going to be stressful, and nothing's guaranteed. So hopefully I can get all these bits, but yeah, it might change a little bit. Some things might come out, some things might come in.
These pieces you've set aside, you've obviously fragged them up, let them heal, let them do their thing, and set them aside so that when Fragarama comes around, you don't have to go looking for pieces. You've got your allocation of frags here ready to go, and you've got some absolute crackers in there from some of these highlighter yellows. You've got Walt Disney's in there, obviously huge assortment of your range of Goniporas, through to some of your other signature SBS in there. So huge range of some really nice aquaculture pieces, which is what Fragarama's all about, really. So
yeah, I'm still cutting some more out of the display, like you said.
Yep.
Especially like just as people tell me, like, hey, I'm coming, I want to really get like a nubbly nuts like this one. It's not something that we keep 100 of them in stock. There's a bit of a slow growing stag.
Yes.
But as people say, hey, I hope you're bringing this, go over and I cut it, make sure I do my best to bring and make everybody as happy as possible.
Make sure the people get what they want, which is always nice.
Yeah, and this is a good example here of cut to order. So these are all going to homes in 2 weeks.
Yeah, nice. So people have come in store, said, I love that, cut me a frag of it.
Yeah, they're actually online.
Online, yep.
So they just chose a bit and how much they want it, and then I cut it, and then we put it there and we hold it for 2 to 3 weeks. We encrust it and then we send it off.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Very nicely done. Do love the size of these green goblin frags in here at $40. Super, super cheap. Can't ask for anything much brighter or faster growing than that for $40.
Yeah, some Monties.
Yeah, you've got a good assortment of Monties in there, from caps, danays, encrustings.
This is our easy, not easy, but the beginner SBS, your birds nests, your pockies, your Monties.
Definitely.
If you want to try SBS for the first time, this is your section just here.
And then we roll over into what's got to be Australia's cheapest SBS frag frag section with this sort of variety. $35 a piece, 6 for 150, 10 for 200, talking $20 a frag there. And you got a few there.
Yep, plenty of strawberry shortcake in there, Sam. Especially with these nice millies with the red base and green.
Yeah.
They don't look like much, but see these green stags a little bit further down here?
Yes.
They actually turn into a beautiful colony. We have in the display when it grows out.
Super, super nice.
It looks very nice structure.
Good variety in there, and as you say, heaps of strawberry shortcake, fully encrusted. You cannot see the tile on some of these. Highlighty yellows, you've got red tip millies there, you've got all sorts in there. Through to some like sort of barley slimers, Dustin's cousins, and not everything is necessarily named, but there is beauty in there for days. So very, very nice assortment of pieces. And then the tanks continue, they don't end. Over here you've got a whole assortment of pieces in here, a bit of a colour explosion to be honest, from Lobos up here to a giant couple of heliofungus that I teased about before, saying that I thought the other ones were big, and then see these monsters there that are...
A little holy grail just next to it. They might need to get moved in a second. They're getting a bit close to each other.
The holy grail torch that is just colouring up is starting to get a little friendly with the mother of all heliofungias, so to aid in its healing it might get moved. But these Lobos, man, such an underappreciated coral here in Australia, I find.
Yeah, which is one of my favourite corals for a pop of colour for a cheap price, and no one really wants them. So every time I speak to the suppliers, I have a pick of the bunch, you know.
Yeah.
I've really been getting into them.
Beautiful, beautiful pieces.
And the customers been liking them too. More the high end ones, but if you want to pop a red or orange and you don't want to be spending 3 or 4 figures.
Exactly, that's the thing. I mean, if we were talking those in a Scully or something, you just add an extra digit to the end.
And size-wise too.
A digit and double it, but yeah.
That's $300, you know.
Massive showpiece, orange and green.
There's not many orange corals you can get at that size that are going to be that cheap.
True. Gorgeous pieces. I quite like this guy down here. Real contrasty green line on the red and purple base. Looks a treat. And then we come across to the beginnings of the Gonies, and I say beginnings because that whole system back there is all Gonies, but you've sort of got some of your spillover in here in that you've got some Gonipora, some Alveos, and some of your wild Gonies in here as well, or maybe mother Gonies.
Yeah, so I guess not everybody wants aquacultured. People still want to buy some wild corals, and that's another area I'm trying to still keep going a bit. So they are a little bit closed at the moment. We've got the really bright red Gonies here.
Yeah,
normally I'd take them and grow them for a year and cut them up, but I do like to put little offerings out there, and you know, for everybody.
Keep the fish biting.
Yeah, and then these greens, they're $60 each.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, that's
some of the
big,
patterns and colours.
wavy coral that, you know, talk about value for money. People are going to be able to put that in their system, and it's going to fill up, depending on the size of your tank, a huge portion of it, and it's going to give you the colour and movement instantly. And
they're bright, and they've got some really good patterns in it.
They're bright, they're colourful, good patterns, and also they're a coral that used to be considered almost disposable because we couldn't keep them alive. That's long gone now. Gonipora is almost considered one of the easiest corals to keep these days, and it's amazing how the hobby has evolved in that space, I guess, over the last few years.
There's some of that bubble, Sam.
Yeah, so there's some of that, mother of that bubble, which is...
There was another half that sold, but that bubble was maybe 5 or 6 kilogram bubble that I chopped up. It was...
Gave the saw a workout.
It was about this big. It took up a whole box, so
yeah, nice.
We're happy to buy big bits and cut them up. We're not scared off by them at all.
Exactly. And then you can see, compared to some of your standard sort of bubbles where they've got the much bigger tentacles there, you roll into some more Galaxias, you've got some more nice long polyp toadstools. Got a couple of Wilsonii here that I did get top-down footage of.
Yep.
Looking a treat, just doing a little bit of recovery on them, or you've done them chopped, yep. So they're just coming back into full swing again. Got a great assortment of hammers here, and I tell you what, a quick look at the hammers showed they had a fair bit of colour, and then I put the top down over them, and oh man, there's some treasures in here. From the colour of stems on some of these, you've got this beautiful gold stem with blue tips, and it's a huge piece. You got these ones along here with the green and gold stems in them. Toxic blotchies. This one here I love with these, sort of like a Frammer spec. He's not quite sure.
Frammer,
yeah, not sure if he wants to be a hammer or a torch or a frog spawn. He's
blotchy. Very, very rare. I'd say that's very rare.
Bright and just different. Got some crazy nice frog spawns down here. Then you got some of these nice gold frog spawns showing the difference with the greens. Onto some torch, and I mean you've got some super nice torch here, which is just on top of that huge assortment of hulks you had before.
And do you want to know the most craziest thing about these gold stems right here?
Tell me about them.
Not one of them is over $120.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Super affordable, and
they're not. I mean, sometimes the photos are a bit misleading. They look a bit small, but there are small ones. But for $120,
it's a big piece.
You want like that, and maybe I think the $100 one is more like this one here.
Yeah.
Better colour, but a bit smaller.
Yeah, he's got better colour.
Yeah.
Crazy nice. And then, you got more blaster variety here, and I almost missed this crazy lineup of Ricordea down there. There is some very, very nice pieces in there.
Still some nice bits. There was 36 of those very special Ricks online, and they went really fast, but there's still like 3 rainbows in there. And
some very nice ones in there. Those rainbows look a treat. I did get some top down of them because, they have an explosion of colour in them. Just look at that. Reds, orange, yellows, greens, purples. Very, very nice. And look at that one back there. Ooh, super, super nice. And then you've got a piece up here that's on special at the moment, which is rare these days in a high-end piece.
A red carpet, It was 3, but I put 2.5 on it now.
See if we can find a new home for this red carpet. Beautiful piece, good size to it. And as you can see, price has come down $500. You can't say that about many things in the world at the moment. But
quite a decent size in the afternoon when it's
I bet
a bit open. I think it's a bit hungry at the moment, searching.
Strop, you better watch out, he might get eaten. And then down here you've got Cinarias, Bowers, Deshies. Beautiful pieces, and these Deshies, I mean, you guys have had these for a long time. These are some of your original collections, and you don't find much brighter than that. You've also got the famous Reef Builders Cinaria there, got featured. Beautiful piece. A range of reds, greens, gorgeous corals. Now, Jono, before we move on to a huge tank of Goni, I believe we missed a coral over in this system over here that is running as sort of bit of a tongue-in-cheek favourite of yours at the moment.
Yeah, it's I always say it's my cricket box. If anyone wants to come in here and throw a cricket ball at me, I'll quickly put it on. But it's this, I believe it's a chalice.
Yeah, right.
Chalice coral, and it's grown like on a big cone shell. You can see it's
you could use it as a cup. Yeah.
Hollow, and
too funny.
Maybe it's a hat.
Yeah. It's not a hat.
But
super unique piece, and you gotta love it.
Yeah.
When I assume that happened in the wild. That hasn't happened.
Yeah. So it's not popping with colour, but it's just so unique because all those ridges and that from it are actually whatever it's grown on, the shell of whatever it's grown on. Or
crazy strange.
It's given it that whole structure.
Nature does wild things at times, and speaking of wild things, show us through some of the Gonies you've got in here, because you've got probably, as the camera just gets overloaded with colour, probably got a couple thousand Goni frags in here, and
we just did probably recut about half of them, and that was 1,000.
Yeah, right. So I was pretty close on my guess.
Yeah. So half of them, and then we turned them into 1,000. So everything's been reportioned up.
Wow.
Some of our most popular, I'd say, are the purple glitter.
Yes.
Just here.
Yes.
These, what they call tiger greens.
Tiger greens, yeah. They're super bright. I can see why they're popular.
They're not quite glitter. They do look glitter, but they're more just the tiger pattern on them.
Yes, just have that banding.
And then obviously what we call now standard glitter.
Yes.
There's actually a couple varieties of it. If you look at here, there's some brighter ones, darker ones.
Yes. So there is sort of a yellow and a purple glitter, and I guess it depends on how much yellow, how much purple. Gives you that little natural variation on colours.
Red glitters. Got heaps and heaps of red glitters,
Heaps and
fast
heaps of
growing.
red glitters.
I find super hardy, long extension. And then just coming down just down here a little bit is what we call Flaming Good, which I think originally came from Sustainable Reefs a long time ago.
Yeah, nice.
Now,
nice looking Goni.
just got them back cut from the colony down there.
Yes.
We had none left. They sell so fast. And there's some
good
little
problem to
secret vault Gonis over here near Jason. They've just been cut. Hopefully we'll be able to take one to Fragarama as I've promised. But we got the, what are they called? Grandmaster
You know.
and Ring of Fire. No, that's what they're named. I didn't name them. They already named that. Yeah. These have been around, not in Australia, but circulation quite a while.
Very nice looking pieces. We'll see how they heal up and colour up, and I'm sure they'll be added to the AMA range very, very soon, which is exciting.
Yep.
And that, I mean, we've just glossed over, like we said, a couple thousand Gonis in there. You're obviously...
Yeah, there's lots of in-betweens, like, you know, Stars of Mars pinks and reds and tequilas and infernos
and just to get an idea of the range of pricing, what's the sort of scope of Gonis we're looking at here?
So a purple glitter will start about $60, same as like a red or a purple is about $50.
Yes.
And then you get into a little bit better ones. Like I said, the tiger greens are about 100.
Yep.
Normal glitter's about 100, and then we work our way up from there. Red glitter's $395, Flaming Good 400.
Yeah, crazy.
And I don't want to say the price yet of the. We'll try to heal them up before
I was going to say, yeah, keep them
before I
alive.
shock everyone.
Exactly. Well, Jono, that's a huge range of corals that you've got in store. Love your display tanks as always, and super cool to see so much aquaculture going on here. I know that's what you guys hang your hat on, and you are branching out into, obviously, or you've always had wild corals, but you're maintaining a supply of wild corals, but not letting go of any of that aquaculture route of AMA, which is absolutely awesome to see. And I really appreciate you taking the time to take us through the shop and just explain everything to me, because otherwise, man, I'd be just probably getting dizzy because I'd be spinning around in circles, seeing something shiny, and every time I turned around. So I do appreciate it. Just one last reminder for those. Obviously, you ship Australia-wide, so anyone in Australia can jump on aquamarineaquaristic.com.au, go through all your range there. Even if you don't have something in stock that they've seen on the video today, they can reach out to you guys. You can put them on the line get a piece of that next time it's ready to go.
Yep, can invoice, can
Easy
do all
done.
that stuff. You want to have us look some fish quickly, or?
Yeah, well, by all means, yeah, show us the fish. I mean, you just got some fish in. Let's have a look at them.
I got some fish and some inverts and some other things. Obviously, there's a couple different varieties of Strombus. We've got the Voma Strombus that have all buried themselves. Normal Strombus, Seraphs, pencil urchins. But we've got pretty much invert-wise anything you may need to keep your tank clean.
Full range of cleanup crew.
Yeah, we got some fish in today. Same as you saw us doing, not a huge range and nothing too crazy, but some lawnmower blennies.
Yeah,
Just some smaller tanks of Malgi.
just a few of them. Look at them all sitting up. Look like they're sitting at the bar, enjoying Collingwood's win last night.
Long banners and some marginal butterflies. Sorry, I call them copper bands, but they're marginal butterflies.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're almost the same. They're just missing one stripe. And these guys are nice and small, nice juvenile size.
Especially the squirrel.
Yes.
They're tiny for what,
They are
what
very
they
small for a
become.
squirrel. Yeah, they get a lot bigger than that. So cool to see them nice and small.
Some just Aussie assortment fish. Yeah,
Yep.
some tomatoes, some butterflies, some rabbitfish, some leopards, some
Hawks.
hawkfish, and then we got our clownfish from Coastal Clownfish.
Yeah, good.
Matt does some fantastic storms, so we got some storm clownfish in here.
Beautiful.
Some orange normal bar, miss bar, and some black. So
Big shout out to Matt and Jade, Coastal Clownfish.
yeah, we're not known for fish. We don't do much fish, but we always have a little bit. We're not going to have a huge range of it, but yeah, like marginals and clowns and
always nice to have
blennies.
fish.
Yeah.
As much as we love the coral, people still call it a fish tank.
Yep.
There's not many. Even your coral systems have got fish in them, from you know, little damsels here to stripies, and then up the back you got that monstrous tang in there. That yeah, he's the general up there for sure. Very good. Well, one more time, thank you very much for taking the time to go through everything with us. I did mention the Australia-wide shipping, but for anyone in the Brisbane area, or even if they're not from the Brisbane area, if they're just going to attend Fragarama, which obviously is up in Brisbane, they can reach out to you and make sure that you're bringing one of these, or a few of these corals they've seen in this video, up to the show, pick up some things there, and yeah, support the Victorians travelling, because it's a big ask.
I'm going to have 350 frags, so you guys better buy them, because I'm not taking them back. So if you want to, you know,
got to come and support the man who is supporting the event. It's, as we said, it's a big effort to move 350 frags from cold old Melbourne all the way up to Brisbane, and hopefully sell them to the show there. So well done in getting behind that, and I'm sure the people will come and support you in droves.
Yep. Last year was great. We sold out, so
happy
I'm
days.
expecting to do the same again. If not, come see me in the last hour, and I'll hook you up.
Nice, man. All right. Well, thank you, Jono. I'll leave you to it, mate. Have a good one.
All right, man. See ya.
All right, guys, there you have it. That was the guided tour of Aquamarine Aquaristic, and I want to give a quick shout out to Jono, who came in early on Good Friday, a public holiday, after our favourite football team, the Mighty Pies, had a big win against the top of the ladder last night. He still managed to get up out of bed early this morning to come on in store, meet me, allow me to mic him up, and then have him take us through the entire shop. A really big effort from Jono, and I really appreciate it. And I'm sure everyone at home watching this video does too. Now, that does lead me to say, and you would have noticed I mentioned it a couple times in the video, if you are located in Australia, you can jump on their website, aquamarineaquaristic.com.au, and I'll be sure to put the link down here and also in the description so you can get on their website and have a look at their full range of stock. But also don't be afraid to jump on their Facebook page and reach out to the team there. If there's anything you're chasing that is not on their website, don't be afraid to give them a call or reach out via that Facebook page and just let them know you're chasing it, because they can get you in line for one of those beautifully cooked frags as soon as it is available. Or of course, if you are heading to Fragarama, as I am, not too far away now, Australia's premier coral aquaculture show, and I cannot wait to go there again. The entire Fragarama committee do an amazing job putting that show on, and it's great to see a Victorian store in Aquamarine Aquaristic heading up the east coast of Australia to showcase their wares at such an event. Now, I will wrap things up there. I do want to give a quick but very, very important shout out to all of my channel members on screen here. These guys support the channel with their wallets, which is a massive, massive help, by chipping in a couple of dollars each and every month. And I can tell you, it makes these videos possible. I spent 5 hours today in public holiday traffic getting this footage for you, and I'm sure without that contribution, that would be something that'd be very, very difficult. So a massive shout out to these names on screen here. And of course, a very big shout out to each and every one of you out there that is a channel subscriber. We are nearing 33,000 channel subscribers from every single corner of this globe, which I truly, truly appreciate and are honestly very humbled by. If you are yet to subscribe, please consider doing so. It takes 2 seconds of your time, it costs no money whatsoever, and it does help the channel quite a lot without costing you a single cent. So please, if you're yet to subscribe, please consider doing so. I will wrap things up there though. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, anything like that, pop it in the comment section down below. I personally reply to each and every comment down there, so it is the best way to get hold of me. And I look forward to seeing you the same time next week for even more juicy reefing content, guys. Till then, stay safe, keep reefing. Cheers, bye.